And ask everyone to rise and join your arms with the people around you. Feel the sense of community and strength that we take from one another as we ask for God's blessing in this closing prayer. Today is with a tremendous sense of pride that I look around at the alumni of Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, their incredible leadership, alumni from our partner organizations, Jewish Theological Seminary, Jews from all across the spectrum of Jewish life. And I remember as well an honorable alumna, Professor Susanna Eschel, whose father was, as she once said, plucked like a brand from the horrors of Europe and brought to the Hebrew Union College, saved by the college, and that led him to be able to march in Selma. So today, as we conclude our commemoration on this sacred day, our hearts and our minds overflow with the images of the period, the places, and the people we remember. The period, frightening moments when grim, unabashed hatred battered the good and robbed them of life, limit, and opportunity. When authorities looked to for leadership, morality, and fairness used their immense influence for evil and not for good. And when the powerless suffered mightily at the hand of those who held them down. And yet, it was a time when undaunted courage and deep commitment rose up to conquer ignorance and prejudice. A moment when what appeared to be impossible became possible through the concerted actions of a committed, fearless community of seekers of justice who would not desist until hard-won freedom and equality became reality. Today, as we walk the corridors of time and honor the memory of this period. We remember the places where heroism, large and small, expressed itself in the acts of so many, where Americans of all race, color, creed, and origin came together and walked proudly on into history. The small towns, the large cities, the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, the lunch counters, the bus seats, the prison in St. Augustine, the churches and synagogues in Mississippi and throughout the South, the thousands of places where a vision of a better world welled up and grew. Places where long traditions of hatred were shaken off. Places where people knew that what was right must eventually come to exist. Places where our forebears moved the world from injustice to justice through their self-sacrifice and acts that defied terrible danger. Today, as we walk the streets of these communities, and we honor the memory of what happened in these places. And perhaps most of all, we as members of the Jewish community, united with all humanity, remember the people who risked their lives l'taken et ha'olam, to better the world. We are just a few weeks away from Pesach, our season of liberation, and we celebrate all those people who served as liberators, brave rabbis imprisoned and attacked for a cause greater than themselves, decent, committed Jewish leaders who came to register voters, to support protesters and march alongside those who faced oppression, those who risked their lives, and those who gave their lives. Our people who understand slavery and oppression, linked inexorably with a community that was experiencing its terrible impact. Today, as we walk in the footsteps of these great individuals, and we honor the memory of their actions. Clarence Jones spoke so beautifully about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I want to end by quoting words of his. He pointed out this essential truth that he learned from being with us. He said about the Jewish community specifically, education without social action is a one-sided value because it has no true power potential. Social action without education is a weak expression of pure energy. Deeds uninformed by educated thought can take false directions. When we go into action and confront our adversaries, we must be as armed with knowledge as they. Our policies should have the strength of deep analysis beneath them to be able to challenge the clever sophistries of our opponents. Let us then, on this day of commemoration, commit ourselves anew to learning and leading toward justice, to raising up a new generation of educated leaders who, with strength and knowledge, will continue to lead our Jewish community once again into the forefront of changing this world for the better. Today, as we walk with hope not because our work is
shall inherit what all of us have done. In a world filled with sorrow and woe, if you ask me why this is so, what we are.